Clinton plans a speech in Reno, Nevada today on Trump and the so-called alternative right movement.
Mark Leibovich is chief national correspondent for the New York Times Magazine and a CBS News political contributor. Mark, good morning.
Hi, Anthony.
What do you make of this speech coming up today from Hillary Clinton connecting Trump to the alt-right movement? What's she trying to do here?
Well, first of all, the alt-right movement is a term that most people don't know, and they haven't known it. I mean, almost other people haven't even known it till recently. She's trying to introduce a term, a notion of basically fringiness, of basically white supremacy into the argument in a way that doesn't actually come out and say he's working closely with some pretty extremist forces in our society. I think clearly the message behind this is that this person is not acceptable. This person is outside the norms of what we usually consider appropriate in our political dialogue. It's just sort of, it's almost a rhetorical lesson that she's giving to lead this.
Well, what is the alt-right movement? The
alt-right is essentially people who go beyond the bounds. I mean, it's been associated with racist movements, white supremacist movements. It's a kind of edginess, it's a kind of dialogue that has been, essentially enlivened by the internet. I mean, people have associated things like the Breitbart News organization with the alt-right. Again, it's a very loaded term, and basically they're both trying to define it at this point.
Well, Kellyanne Conway, Trump's campaign manager, was on this show this morning and said Trump's campaign is not a platform for the alt-right, and that she wasn't even really familiar with the alt-right.
That's, well, look, Steve Bannon, who is the new sort of co-head of the Trump campaign until 2 weeks ago, was head of Breitbart News, which is one of the organizations that's been very readily associated with the so-called alt-right. So, yeah, I mean, that's going to be just a lot of pushback here and there. I mean, again...
Does that ring true to you, that she wouldn't be familiar with the alt-right movement?
Not necessarily. I mean, it's just, look, it's a word. It's a new word. It's something that people are trying to define.
Let's talk about another word. Sure. Yesterday, Donald Trump called Hillary Clinton a bigot. What was he trying to achieve by using that?
Well, I mean, it's sort of part of an not ongoing strategy, but lately we've been seeing her use terms like racist, or him using terms like bigot, racist, that I think he's trying to maybe preemptively stick onto the other side to maybe preempt charges against him. I don't really know. I mean, people sort of nod in the audience. I don't know if that's going to stick either.
Trump says he's going to announce something soon on immigration. It's 11 weeks to Election Day.
It's 11 weeks to Election Day. He said he was going to do a major speech last week.
What is it? I'm still unclear myself, and as you know, I'm someone who digs into the details about what exactly his immigration policy is. I can only attribute to what he has said in the past.
Yeah, it's something I think a lot of people are puzzling over, especially this week when there seems to be not just a pivot, but almost a whole reinvention of his approach to immigration, both in his rhetoric and whatever his policy is, which again, as you just said, we don't really quite know.
Your magazine says people like Kellyanne Conway, who was here earlier, have shown Donald Trump some of the polling data about his falling off with suburban, college-educated whites, which are something that Mitt Romney won by double digits, and he's seen that and is reacting to that.
It is a big problem for the campaign. I mean, since the Republican convention, they have lost a lot of Republican voters. I think this is directed not so much at black and Hispanic voters necessarily, but at the moderate sort of suburban voters that might traditionally vote Republican. The problem here is he has built his entire campaign, or it's been the cornerstone of his entire campaign. You risk losing and really angering a lot of the base, which, according to some of the early, reaction to this has been, quite striking.
Mark Leibovich, good to have you here.
Thanks, Nora.
Thank you.